Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of Christchurch-Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Back in April, and I know I'm going way back, it's a long time ago, not trying to rehash anything, but somebody just sent me a video clip. And it was from a Texas state representative by the name of James Tallarico, a Democrat who offered a prayer at one of their sessions. Now this prayer, that was beautiful. I thought it was beautiful. I listened to it, I thought it was wonderful. I'll attach a clip to it in the description. He recognizes and acknowledges that God is called by many names. And in the prayer, again, I thought it was beautiful. I think he'd fit right in with this channel, to be honest with all of you. He says, let us not just be hearers of the word, but doers of your word. In our lives and in this chamber, he says. Now, since this prayer, of course, it's been called blasphemous. People have condemned his faith. They've questioned his Christianity. They've questioned his devotion to God. It was a shame. It was a shameful exhibit. I didn't see it that way. I seen it as wonderful and opening and inclusive. I seen it as a brilliant and powerful way to express how little we know of God and how immense God is. But I'm also reminded by this prayer. I'm reminded of this fella. You probably have heard of him. He wasn't very well liked. He wasn't very well liked. He kept saying and doing things that really bothered the religious elite of his time and of his place. He kept saying and doing things that just irritated them, threatened them. It wasn't just that he was super nice. He literally said things that were counter-cultural as well as counter to his own religious convictions. The religious convictions of his people. Now you know who I'm talking about. Right? The big guy. Talking about Jesus. You know, often he was condemned by the church because he spoke out against their authority, which he did. But he also allowed his disciples to eat without washing their hands. Big no-no. He spent time with people that the religious elite, those authorities, would have considered to be dirty, unclean, unworthy. People that you couldn't associate with without condemning yourself. He called God Father and claimed to be the Son. We can't know Jesus without accepting the fact that in many ways he was seen as blasphemous against his people's religious beliefs. We can't say to ourselves, oh, I believe in Jesus, unless we acknowledge the fact that he challenged the people of his day. He challenged them. He demanded that they expand their minds. And those that did, they found a great place to be. But those that didn't, ultimately they had him killed. We have a faith. I have a faith. You have a faith. Everybody has a faith, and we'll talk about that another day, but we all have something that we hold on to. We all have something that we believe in, and it's precious to us. It means a lot to us. But we can't try to keep it from growing. We'll destroy it and kill it if we put it in a box and say it must remain like this always. We need to allow it to be challenged. We need to allow it to be We need to allow it to grow. Representative Talarica, his prayer wasn't blasphemous. It was incredibly loving. It was love throughout. There was no hate to it. There was no condemnation to it. It was a beautiful prayer to our God. It's an example for us to follow. He offers an example for us to follow. A courage for us to embrace. His prayer, I believe, offers us a prayer that maybe Jesus might have uttered on a day like this. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that our hearts will be filled with that rebellious spirit of Jesus Christ, that revolutionary spirit of Jesus Christ, that we would allow ourselves to be, and that we would allow ourselves to challenge our faith, that we would allow it to grow in whatever direction it needs to grow, that we would find ourselves drawing ever closer to the infinite majesty that is God. Amen.